What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is the return of really great show, Agent Carter. This is the first episode, Lady in the Lake, and I just want to go ahead and talk about what was so great about the first season and what's so great about this season. It's set back in the 40s. That's just so fun, in my opinion. I mean, it's such a fun concept to think of, and it's such a fun concept to see put out very well. Like they represent the time very well, and from the cars to the dress, all of it. It feels like the 40s. Of course, besides seeing like actors that we know now in there, that's like the only thing. It's like I know he's a modern actor, um, but I mean it's just I when I first saw the previews for the very first season, I was like, okay, this could be interesting because I was already watching Agents of Shield, and this was supposed to be, ugh, I don't know what that was. This was supposed to be like this is gonna hold you over until second half of the uh, Agents of Shield season comes on, and just from the previews, I was like, this looks pretty cool. Set back in the older times, just after World War II. Um, you know, Peggy Carter, fun character from Captain America movies. This could be a lot of fun, and it was. They did a really good job with the first season, had a very interesting story, very good characters, and they're bringing some of those characters back. Very first thing in this episode, Dottie is still running amok. She's robbing this big vault, just full of gold, but she's only asking for like one safety deposit box. Um, and so you see her breaking in, and then Peggy and the whole SSR are there to stop her, and so they get the arrest and they get her. It's just like a fun action packed moment at the very beginning, just to kind of get you started and kind of pick up where everything left off. You got them taking down Dottie, and then they switch over, and Souza is now over in L.A. He's become the chief of the SSR branch over there, which is very interesting. So that's going on, and then you've got so much stuff happens after that. First, you find out about this serial killer who's been killing all these girls. They call him Lady of the Lake Killer, and it's kind of curious, and you're kind of wondering where's this going. Because it's Marvel, so there's got to be a bit of superhuman stuff going on, which there is. But at first, it's kind of like, is this going to be like a serial killer type thing? And it's still kind of might be that too. So I'm very curious to see what they've got going there. But the whole Lady of the Lake Killer thing is actually not solved in this episode. So there's potential to be like, maybe we can solve that too. A little bit of a murder mystery, as well as all of the other stuff going on. Because there's not a whole lot of mystery right now. There's a few things, like the Lady of the Lake Killer and the doctor that she meets in this episode, Wilkes. The scene at the end with him is kind of like, is that saying he's evil, or he just has this alien looking stuff and he's like testing it? It was kind of like, what are you trying to say here? Because it was, I don't know, the music made it sound like, oh, what's going on, guys? But at the same time, it wasn't very conclusive. Like, he's just looking at it and standing on a railing looking at it, and I'm just like, I don't know what this means. But anyway, kind of incoherent right now, jumping all over the place. Let me just go through the things that I didn't like first, because there were a couple things. There weren't big things, but they're minor nitpicks from my point of view. One, they did that thing that some sequel movies and some sequel seasons do, that I just don't understand. They have these two characters that look like they're gonna get together, and then they don't get together. And it's just, I don't really remember what happened at the end of last season between Peggy and Daniel. But I remember them kind of seemed like maybe they were liking each other a bit more. Like maybe there was a chance for them to get together. And then she heads over to LA and he's like not happy to see her. He did not request her, but what's his name? Thompson. He in his apparently he's still feeling inferior because Peggy's a woman and she does a better job than him, so he sends her over there to kind of get her out of the office. And Daniel's not happy to see her. And she talks about, I left messages. I called you several times. What happened? And he's just like, yeah, I've been busy with all of this, blah, 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 blah. And then this doctor, Wilkes, steps in and he's flirting with Peggy. And she's just like, well, I'm not really sure. Because you can kind of see that she might be interested in Daniel. And then when she asks to take him out to drinks afterwards, he's just like, I'm sorry, I can't tonight, maybe tomorrow night. And then she looks out the window and see he's with a woman right now. And I'm just like, why? Like, did you want us to want them to be together? Is that why you wrote it that way? And that's how we still feel now? I don't know. It was just kind of confusing. Like, whenever you write two characters that work together well, that kind of that mesh together, and you write them in a way that makes your audience want to see them together, and then not put them together in the follow-up season, it just kind of frustrates me. And I don't get it. I'm just sitting here like, okay, so are they not gonna get together now? I don't know. It was just one of the things that bothered me a bit. The other thing that bothered me is the what's his name? The detective. I can't remember his name now, but the one that turned out to be the actual, like, he had powers and he was. Anyway, at the end of all of it, he is turning to ice, which didn't make a whole lot of sense. It's like he was turning other things into ice, and now all of a sudden he's turning into ice. When did that happen? But anyway, he's turning into ice near the very end, and then gets shot and shatters into 1,000 pieces. And then the cop is like right there. She's like, I didn't have my radio on me. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. And it was just like, you could have left it there and just maybe left a little bit of mystery. Did that cop actually shoot him, or was he paid to do it? Because the detective was even saying, they're not going to let me live. There's like, who's not going to shot death? And it's just like, what if this cop was paid off? Did he actually leave? But then they just cut out all the mystery instantly and show the cop like pulling up to that one sleazy guy. I can't remember his name right now. But the guy that they were suspecting to have killed the girl pulls up next to his car and gets the money from him. And just like, you did a good job, and hands him the money. I'm just like, okay, so I guess no mystery there. And on the grand scheme, it is a small nitpick, because in most shows nowadays that I'm noticing more and more, a lot of them are giving up major plot points that they could have kept a secret until later. The best example I can think of is Supergirl. In the very first episode, you find out that the main bad guy that she has to fight against is her aunt. And it's just like, you could have shown her, but not told us who she is. So it's a bit of mystery. Who is it? And then when Supergirl finally sees her, oh my gosh, Aunt Astra, and that would be a good reveal. But in the first episode, when we're just getting to know these characters, to tell us that it's her aunt, I don't care enough about her character yet to go like, oh no, not her aunt. And so it wasn't as big a deal as, say, that, revealing that way too early. So revealing him is something I already kind of suspected, but I would like to have a little bit of time to think about what other possibilities there could be before you just say, oh yeah, here it is, this is the answer. So I think that could have been kept maybe in the dark a little bit longer, but that being said, the interesting thing is the wife is also in on it, so I'm glad it wasn't just, yeah, he's the sleazeball. The wife is also in on it too, so that makes it a little bit more intriguing than just the guy who you think is the bad guy is the bad guy. Like, also, she's the bad guy. A little bit of a twist, and I like the way they turned that. Anyway, so this is starting on things that I'm actually really enjoying about this. I love seeing LA back in the 40s. I don't know what it is about it, but just it feels so retro. That's the best word I can think of for it. The show does really well at just between the camera work and the editing and the way they make the like the what's it called? I can't even think of it now, but like the tint or the tone of the camera, it makes it look a bit of a retro TV show type thing. I really like that, which is something that I really enjoyed in the first season. Um, we finally get to meet Jarvis's wife, and she is amazing. Uh, just everything that Jarvis is, she is the opposite, and it could be one of those things where, you know, why are they together? But they're in such an opposites attract kind of way. Like when you see them together, they're so enjoyable together, and you can see why she likes him. Like he kind of brings her down to earth, and you can see why he loves her. That she's kind of outgoing. The way that he was kind of attracted, not attracted that way, but he found himself being drawn to Peggy and what she was doing because she's outgoing too, just like his wife is. And he, even though he is sort of sheltered and kept inside and doesn't really go out and do a bunch of stuff, he wants to. Like that side of him is drawn to that stuff, and so you can see why he would marry a woman like this. And the other great thing about that is that I'm able to make all these conclusions from like a 3 minute scene that we have with them together. Like I can instantly tell this is why they love each other. They're perfect fit. Opposites attract. In this case, now this doesn't always work with opposites, but they're just one of those couples that the thing that he is what she is not, but she wants that, and it's the same for him. And it's just also a very funny scene. First of all, seeing her like come up, hug Peggy, she's like, "Oh my gosh, I've heard so much about you," and Jarvis is just like, "Yep, she's a hugger," and then she is not a hugger, and I don't know, it's just so funny to see them all together, and I really hope she becomes a big part of the season for this season. Let's see, other stuff. Mainly just Jarvis is a lot of the comedy in this, and Marvel's just found this perfect balance of silly comedy mixed with good comedy. Because I mean, Peggy walks into the SSR like it's a talent agency that they're hiding out in, and so she walks in and there's these two girls doing the little tap number, and it's all silly and goofy looking, and the woman that was doing the phones in New York is there now. The one that I don't even know her name. I just know she's the one that was constantly talking to Peggy and giving her like the encouragement talks. But she's working there, and as soon as she comes in, Peggy, oh my gosh, it's so good. And the girls just keep going and keep going it all out. And then they get done, and then she's just like, no, I don't think that Mr. Whoever's going to see you today, so bye. And they just leave. And I don't know, it's just so funny and pointless. And yet it works somehow. I don't understand how they managed to do it, but I was laughing so hard at how hard they were just trying to tap dance and do their best. And it's not even a real talent agency, so she just like pretends to watch and then doesn't even pretend to watch anymore, but they keep going. I don't know. It's goofy, but it's a good type of goofy. And then they also mix in some really good humor between Peggy and Jarvis and Daniel and Peggy and the Doctor Wilkes. It's all good humor. So Marvel really does well with humor, I think. I did talk about kind of the few mysteries that do remain with the Doctor and with the serial killer, who is it, and all that good stuff. The other mystery that I think it's a little bit less of a mystery, but I am kind of curious to find out what the sleazeball guy that had the ice guy killed. I am curious to find out what his motivations are because we know he's the bad guy, and now we know his wife is the bad guy. But why? Because they didn't really touch on that a whole lot. Like they only suspected him of killing the girl. Um, and so his motivations for what's going on, what happened with this detective that turned to ice, what happened there, how is this guy involved, what's his motivation for killing him, what's going on here. There is a good chunk of that motivation that we just don't understand yet. And so it is going to be interesting to see what's going on there. And the other thing that I really am curious to see what's going on with. Uh, Thompson is in the middle of interrogating Dottie, and he's about to start his stupid, pretty much torture technique of just beating the crap out of her until she gives him an answer. Um, which how has nobody told him yet that doesn't actually work? Like that's just from watching any TV or movie ever, it's just torture doesn't actually work unless it's taken. Then torture works. I don't know. No, but he's about to start interrogating her, and then all of a sudden FBI guys come in, release her, and take her into custody. And then this older guy, who's apparently like head of the FBI, is talking to him, and is just like, your organization is about to become just completely irrelevant. So why don't you put your face in the light of another upcoming, the next big thing organization? Um, and so you can kind of see that something's going on there. Dottie, whatever uh, box she was trying to break into, has something, some sort of key-looking thing that maybe unlocks something else, and Peggy wasn't able to get it out of her, so there's something going on there. Um, so even though I say there isn't a lot of mystery, but the truth is, it's not really a mystery. It's just stuff that I don't know yet. Um, which some of you may be like, well, technically that's a mystery. Yes, but in the same way, no. Like, in my opinion, a mystery is like there's a culprit at the end. I want to solve this mystery. Who done it? What was the motivation? All of that stuff. Uh, so, like I said, with the sleazeball and his wife, part of that mystery is already solved because I already know who done it. The part I don't know is the motivation. So, like I said, there's still a bit of mystery there, just not as much as I wish there was. As far as the serial killer, that is a mystery because there's no who done it yet, and we don't know why. Is he just crazy, or is there an actual reason for doing it? The stuff with Dottie, not really a mystery because we know what she was doing. We just the motivation is we know why. She's it's either she's crazy or there's some sort of riches to be achieved, or we kind of can guess her motivations. The question is, what is in it for her? What is she trying to achieve? And so I look at it less as a mystery and more like this is something that's going to happen later. Um, and so that's exciting to kind of see what's going to happen because really it could be any number of things, and I can't even begin to start guessing what it is that she's looking for. But from the sounds of it, it's not riches in the sense of money. So maybe it's riches in the sense of superhuman stuff, possibly. Um, Either way, she is totally obsessed with Peggy because I guess since Peggy stopped her, she's kind of become more obsessed with her. She at the beginning she disguised herself as Peggy, and then through the whole interrogation, she's just asking for Peggy. Where's Peggy? No Peggy. Well, you're out of luck. I don't know. She's kind of. We knew she was crazy, but now she's going even more crazy, if that's possible. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble now. That's because I'm running out of stuff to talk about. Yeah, but I guess the best thing I can say about this is that it's a good opening, and I am excited to see where it's going from here. I'm excited to see what the main point of this season is going to be, because the first season didn't tie in a whole lot to, like the future, like as far as Agents of Shield and the Marvel Cinematic Universe where it is now. It didn't tie in a whole lot there. We got to see a few things here and there, a few Easter eggs. It's just like paying homage or making little hints to stuff that's going to happen in the future. But as far as like what this season is going to accomplish, I don't know, and I'm excited to see what they have in mind of what they plan to do with this season, and how much it is going to tie into the future. So, I think I'm done rambling now. Let me know down in the comments below what you think, whether you agree or disagree with me. Just agree. It's always better to agree with me. Leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more Agent Carter stuff. About to watch the second episode, so. And, as always, check out other videos. Review a ton of shows. So, yeah, a lot of stuff to watch. So little time. Anyway, I'll see you at the next review. Peace out.